Hello, vinyl community. This is Randy. Back today with another video. I'm going to show you some records I picked up in the past couple weeks. Today's Wednesday, September the 18th. The first record I'm going to show is Silver Scrolls, Mind Lines. The name of the album is Mind Lines. Silver Scrolls is the name of the band. Silver Scrolls. And we're going to hear some of this. In just a second. I'm going to put it on right now. I just wanted to show you the record before I before I put it on there. This record came out just a couple weeks ago. I ordered this from Bandcamp, directly from the, I guess it comes from the band or through Bandcamp. And so I was glad to get this one. This is on, oh gosh, what is the name of this record label? It is Three-Lobed Records, and this cool translucent red vinyl. I really like the translucent red. I think this would probably be the color that I would choose for a record if I were going to be producing a record. So we're just going to put this on and we'll hear some. I want to play it because it's really indescribable. Very guitar-driven indie rock, and Dave, the main guitarist, is Dave Brylawski. Brylawski. There's a very distinctive tone in the way he plays. Silver Scrolls is a band that grew out of Paulvo, which was a band from, I think they were from North Carolina in the 90s. They were classified as a math rock band, so indie rock and I guess math rock. So that's, you know, sort of complicated time signature changes. I would call this pretty much just indie rock, but I guess there are some time changes and stuff in here, and then there's information about the band. This one came out a couple weeks ago. Silver Scrolls released their first album in 2020. I had been streaming this album for a while, a year or two ago. I could never find a real copy of a live copy of it anywhere. Online or even in record stores. So I contacted the record label, and the guy at the record label contacted Dave Brylawski, the guitarist, and he had a copy, so he sent me this one in the mail. So that was extremely cool. Glad to get that one. And so yeah, I've been listening to this one for the past 2 or 3 days, and yeah, we'll hear it in the background here. And I really like this album. I was just going to point out that there is one song on here. You can hear his vocals there. Most of it is Dave singing, I think. There's one song on the second side, Visiting the 12th Bar, which really has just a very familiar, almost like a heavy rock type beat. There's both of them singing at once. So it's 3 people in the band. Dave Brylawski, Brian Quast also does guitar, vocals, drums, and bass. I think drums and bass are mostly what he does, though. And then it also lists Greg Elkins on guitar, on organ and incidental sonics. So Greg Elkins is the guy who mixed it, it looks like. And I only see 2 people pictured here, so I assume Dave and Brian are the 2 main people in the band. So yeah, we'll be hearing that. Melvins released this record in 2021. Working with God is the name of this record. So they put out so many records and they all sound different. This one is not that real heavy doom rock. This one has quite a few songs on it. None of them are really long, and some of them have quite a sense of humor. So, like the very first song, "I Fuck Around," is a parody of "I Get Around," the Beach Boys' "I Get Around." It says Melvins 1983 up here, and I think the reason for that is this was their original lineup in 1983, a 3-man lineup. Mike Dillard plays drums, Del Crover plays bass. He's also listed as playing drums on this album, so I'm not sure who plays what, but I assume that most of the drums were played by Mike Dillard, and then King Buzzo was the lead vocalist and wrote the songs. This came with this poster. Always glad to get these posters. I there's, much chance I would really ever put this on my wall, but I always like getting stuff like this. So it's another one of these two-sided posters, though, that if you were going to put it on your wall, you would have to choose. This side, I'm not sure if you're going to get, it looks like it's a volcano explosion. This is on, what is the record label here? Ipecac Records. The green and blue labels. It's mostly gray, but I think there might be just a hint of green in that vinyl. I got this record by Kaleidoscope. This is what I've really been listening to just so much the past 2 or 3 days. Kaleidoscope has just become one of my favorite bands. I just really like it a lot. Yeah, from England, and I guess they formed in 65 or 66. Put out their first album in 1967. Their first album is a real vinyl community staple that gets shown pretty often. I showed it a couple years ago when I got it. The first album is called Tangerine Dream, and it's in this book called Psychedelia, 101 Iconic Underground Rock Albums, compiled by Richard Morton Jack. And I've been trying to collect all these records, really. I'd like to get them all. There's quite a few. Well, there's 101. So I've got a long way to go. I think there's several other people in the VC were using this book as sort of a reference. So in this story, though, about Kaleidoscope, they say that the second album is just as delightful as the first one, and I totally agree. Actually, I think I like the second one even better than the first one. And then they also, they had another album after this. They changed their name to Fairfield Parlor and switched over to Vertigo Records. But for now, I'm just showing this record. So it has sort of a medieval look there on the cover on this gatefold sleeve, and I'd say their music is kind of like Baroque pop. I mean, it's classified as psychedelic. It's kind of Baroque, and he sings songs that are not just straight love songs, and they're very, very British sounding. I mean, I would never think that this is an American band. So you can see there's just all these people all around here, like in the trees and stuff, and very cool album cover. The words are on the inside. So they released a song off of this, Faintly Blowing, but I guess just like with the one they released from the first album, it also did not become a hit, which is very disappointing. This is a reissue on Sunbeam Records, and there's no way I could get an original. Their original records are really expensive, but I tell you, the good thing about getting this reissue is you get this really cool booklet which has an extensive history of the band, which is really cool. They're very interesting to read about, and it's just interesting how much time they got in the studio. I guess they got signed by a record label that paid for a whole lot of studio time for them, so they spent a lot of time, and they got good reviews and stuff, but for some reason, the records just didn't catch on, and they weren't able to make a go of it. So it's really too bad. But yeah, like I say, I've really just have grown to like this a lot. Standard black vinyl and Sunbeam Records there. I also got this CD. They made the first 2 albums, and they changed their name to Fairfield Parlor and made another album. So this CD combines the, what somebody decided was, I guess, the best of the songs from those 3 albums. I was also pleasantly surprised to learn that this CD included a DVD with it. So it's all 4 members of the same. All 3 of the albums, the 2 Kaleidoscope and the Fairfield Parlor album, and the DVD is mostly 3 or 4 songs where they're lip syncing to a French television show in the 60s. So that's pretty cool. Just sort of see them there, I guess. And there's some French girls there dancing and stuff. So that's very cool. There's a French interviewer, French guy, MC, interviewing them. But the second part of it is a 2017 Kaleidoscope. It says, I don't know if they call it reunion, but I think it's really just the main guy. The singer is this guy right here. And it's him with like 4 or 5, much younger people. He's got to be like 70 years old by 2017. And the other people in the band, all they're, their 20s or 30s or something like that. But it sounds really good. His voice still sounds perfect. So, yeah, so I was really glad to get that one. So, yeah, Kaleidoscope and Fairfield Parlor. I got another record from that same book. The Electric Prunes, Underground. I already had their first album, and that was pretty good. So I was, I've been browsing this book and stuff, and it's the same book that I'm talking about here. So it's actually their second album that is listed here as an iconic underground rock album from 1966 to 70. So this one is excellent. Evidently, they had more say in the song selection for this one than they did from the first one. It had more to do with the production. So it's a little bit more psychedelic sounding, some really good guitar work on here. Starts out with a fantastic song called The Great Banana Hoax. The only drawback I have for this album is there's a song on it called It's Not Fair, which is a country song. Which I don't mind if these rock bands from the 60s did a country song as long as they did it sincerely like the Beatles did with What Goes On or something like that. But they seem like they're doing this as a joke here. He sings it with a heavy country accent, and I'm just not sure why they did that. And then there's another song on side 2 called, I think it's Big City. It might be Captain Glory, which is, I guess, the one song that the record label sort of forced on him to do as sort of a pop song, and it doesn't fit on the record at all. But other than that, I really like this record. Lots of really good guitar work and vocals. And this is a reissue on Jackpot Records. It's called Blue Vinyl. So yeah, I got that one, and Jackpot was also selling this one, Mass in F minor, composed by David Axelrod. So I guess after that second album didn't do too well, the record label basically sort of forced them to work with this classical music composer, David Axelrod, who wrote this. It's basically a religious hymn, I guess, a piece of music. I mean, here's it's all like in Latin and stuff. And when I first put it on, it kind of reminded me of that part in Animal House when Kevin Bacon is being initiated into his fraternity, and he says, "Thank you, sir, may I have another?" And it shows all his fraternity brothers there in dark robes and stuff, and they're playing that music by monks. I was thinking it might have been from this, but I don't think it is. I couldn't quite place it on this album. First time around here, and I thought, wow, this is just ridiculous. I'm never going to listen. This is just silly. But I've listened to it several more times, and now it's actually my favorite of the 3 Electric Prunes albums. The music on it is just excellent. The vocals don't take up too much of the time, and they're okay. They're kind of like, vocals as an instrument, I guess. I don't really know what they're saying, but they don't take up, like I say, there's not much vocals on here. It's mostly instrumental. The book says that the band had very little to do with this record, but oh gosh, where did I read? I read somewhere, I guess online, I don't see an insert with this, where one of the band members said that they played on every song, and I guess they did the vocals too, so there is some orchestration, so they didn't do that part, so I guess it's hard to say exactly how much the actual members of the Electric Prunes had to do with this, and I guess this is their last album, but like I said, I really like this one a lot. I just think of it basically as sort of an instrumental record, very psychedelic sounding, so yeah, extremely cool. It's on this, boy, this looks black, but I can tell you that it is purple. Very dark, sort of a marbled purple vinyl. And the last record I have to show you today is this 2-record set by Aesop Rock. Spirit World Field Guide. This is just excellent, really excellent. I've been listening to some hip hop lately, and boy, this is really what makes me want to listen even more. The vocals on this are just fantastic. I love the way that hip hop has evolved since I've sort of stopped listening, I guess, in the early 2000s, and now the background parts can be just sort of anything playing in the background. It could be snippets of music or just sounds. And I guess the MCs just sort of talk over it, rap over it. Really lots of words flowing on this one. So, and I can understand most of them the first time through. This tells all the people that work. There's a lot of special guests working on this one. There's the whole gatefold sleeve. I think this came out in 2021, and I think this is the original issue from 2021 because I was looking online, and I think it's the only one that includes this sticker sheet. These are stickers, like tools that are part of the field guide, like the flashlight. And, oh gosh, I think there's a compass on here. There's a dragonfly, dog down there. So sticker sheet that you can use. Super cool inner sleeves. 2-record set, they're both exactly the same. And it's on this, it's a direct to vinyl label. So there's no paper label at all. This is all just, I guess it's kind of like colored vinyl, and very cool looking clear vinyl. And you can tell that this is side A of the record because you can read the Aesop there. And then the bottom of it, rock looks backwards, but then when you turn it over, you can read the rock, and Aesop looks backwards. So that's the second side of this record. So, yeah, Aesop Rocks. This is the second Aesop Rock album I've gotten, and it's an American rapper. And other than that, I really don't know too much about him. I guess he's a producer, and he's worked with a lot of people. He's also a visual artist, I think. So, those are records I picked up in the past couple of weeks. Let me know what you think about them. And, yeah, I hope everybody's doing well. Thanks for watching.